Ta-da! Hey everyone, well today is the day that we're going to review the Harvey G700 Dust Processor. Let me tell you what I think about it, and I'm going to show you how it works and hopefully answer any questions you might have, but if I don't answer any, make sure to leave them down in the comment section. So let's get to it. First off, I want to give full disclosure. Harvey did provide this machine for me to test and try. My reviews are not predicated on the ability to keep it. The reviews that I am going to provide, I get to keep with the machine no matter what I think. Thank you to Harvey for believing in makers like me and providing us with the equipment to review. So let me tell you why I got the Harvey G700 Dust Processor. I have had other brands, a couple other different brands, a smaller one and a bigger one, and they've been okay, but I don't have a walkout basement, so I can't open a door or anything like that. So I need to make sure that the air quality here is as good as it can be because I live here. I like my lungs. I want my family to be safe, and I like my house to be clean, so I don't like a lot of dust all over the place. So I've had some other brands of dust collectors before, and they've been okay, but I really wanted something that was going to be able to attach to any piece of equipment. If I wanted to add hose, can reach to multiple equipment at the same time. This can do that. And I wanted something that was easy to empty and not a pain in the butt to empty. So those are the reasons that I chose the Harvey. And I'm very happy with it. I've used it for probably 6 weeks now. And let me tell you what I love about it. I love that it's on wheels. Just one hand I can move it. So it's easy to move around the shop. I love that it comes with a quality hose. It's very well made. It's not flimsy. I can't collapse it. So the biggest issue for me was getting it in the basement. Now, on a crate and everything, it comes all assembled, which is wonderful. I didn't have to put anything together. And the freight truck unloaded it, and I put it in my garage until I could figure out how to get it in the basement because obviously I needed help. But it weighs over 500 pounds, all packed and everything. And in this state, it weighs about 450 pounds. So, something that I couldn't do myself. I had one other person help me. If you get one, I would suggest, especially if you need to get it, not just to a garage, but to a basement like me, that you have probably at least 3 people. I did end up taking some parts off, and I'll show you that in a little bit, but just to make it lighter to get down in the basement because it was just me and one other person. We used a dolly, so strapped it to the dolly and took it down literally step by step. And when it was down here, I put the parts back on. Basically, it was just a bunch of panels. It's very well made, so taking a panel off here or there did reduce the weight a little bit. So it was worth it for me. So here's a few clips of me moving it in after we got it down to the basement. As you can see there, those are the panels that I took off along with the cover for the filter and the dust bins. Now I already had 220 on this wall because it's where I used to have my lathe. I was very happy that this was on wheels. It made it so easy. Everything is packed so well and packaged. Everything is top quality. I'm showing you the handle there in warp speed, screwing the handle on. Everything was easy to put back together or put on. Taking a snack break, Snickers, if anyone is watching from Mars Candy Bars, please sponsor me. So just a up close of the full machine. It does have a 4-inch dust hose, which you see down here, and then the 2.5 here. This is flashing because the on-off button behind here is turned on. So it's ready for me to hit the little on button, which I'm not going to just yet. These, you turn these knobs and it cleans the filters. And in here, these two knobs will pull out the dust collection bin, and I will show you that. So let's do that part now. Get a little closer here. This is the main dust collection bin, and this is the fine dust. So it does separate them. And it has these nice, very thick plastic bags and an elastic to go around them. And it does come with extra bags, which is really nice. Also, a nice feature are these two windows. You can see what's going on if you want to. A little bit of a view inside. This is the output panel. When I turn it on with the power button in the back, this will light up, but it won't start until I push the button on the remote control. And this will increase the CFM, increase the power. You can stop or run. Over here you have a gauge where you can tell if it's any gaps in pressure. Here's the power button in the back. Just to give you some perspective, the front is back there. And so it's off now. I'm gonna turn this on. And when we go around to the front, the lights will be on, but it won't be running until I press the button. Now, as you can see, it is ready to hit on. You can use the remote here, or so the MR button is manual or remote, and I have it put it on remote. So I'm gonna do a little experiment here. I have a scale that I've measured a couple pieces of wood. The first piece weighs 3 pounds, 7 ounces. 4 pounds, 6 ounces. So let's turn the machine on and I'll show you what I mean. So clearly it showed it could pick up both pieces of wood. This was the heaviest at 4 pounds, 5 or 6 ounces. This is a piece of silver maple 2x10, and it picked it up no problem. Now I haven't done any tests further than this. This was just a little experiment to show you guys. I'm not really worried about how much wood it can pick up, so to speak. I have used it for over a month, and I would highly recommend this machine to any hobbyist or professional. It does span that range of who it would benefit. And really it doesn't take up a large footprint. People see this, you know, horizontal piece of equipment and it looks a lot different than other dust collectors, but it really takes up less room. I've had other dust collectors and this takes up far less room than my old, this one is bigger, obviously bigger as in the CFM, and doesn't take up much more of a footprint, really. That's what I think. So I'm going to show you a few up close with the machine and show you a couple things that I wanted to point out. So I hope I answered at least a few of your questions about the Harvey G700 Dust Processor. One thing I didn't mention, it is 220 volt. You will need 220 power to operate this machine. Would I recommend this product is the ultimate question. Absolutely, without hesitation, I would recommend the product. It is, as I mentioned, a quality product. The company is very reputable. It does what it says it's going to do. The operation manual, it is very thorough. I'm not an electrician or mechanic or any scientific mind or anything like that. So I guess my point is, if I can do it, you can do it. It comes all ready to go. There's really nothing you need to do. I needed to take a few things off to get it into my basement, which was pretty easy to do. One thing I really like about it that I didn't mention, I guess, is the handle. It has a handle, this gray thing back here, and it makes it easy to maneuver around if you have to move it around the shop at all. Now I just moved it a little bit, but you can move it all over the shop as easy as that. And one thing I wanted to reiterate too is that I mentioned this before in the video, but you don't have to be a professional woodworker to use one of these. Even as hobbyist woodworkers, we use and purchase thousands of dollars of equipment and tools, whether it's a lathe, a table saw, miter saw, and even one piece of those, like a table saw, is pretty expensive unless obviously you buy a used one. But if you buy a new tool of anything, a lathe, my lathe was a little over $3,000. I have a drum sander that was well over $1,000. I think it was $1,500. I do not have I have a very low-end table saw, but if you buy a quality table saw, you're going to spend between $1,000 and $3,000, something like that. My point is that this is not a lot of money to spend on something that is going to keep your shop clean, keep the dust out of your lungs, and keep the dust out of your house. I'm in my basement, so dust can come upstairs. If you do enough woodworking, it can get all over the place. So I have air filters. I've had those, the jet air filters in the ceiling. I have 2 of those. But I've noticed when using the Harvey dust processor that there's minimal dust anyway. The suction and the pressure is so good that there's not a lot of dust. Now, you see this dust over here on the floor and on the bandsaw. That's when I was demonstrating it without the Harvey hooked up. A world of difference. If I had a professional workshop, which my workshop is probably a serious hobbyist if I was going to describe it at all. But if I had a professional workshop, I would still use one of these. As I mentioned, this does have a range of being from a hobbyist to a professional. And if you have a bigger shop, this would cover it as well, because you can do the duct work and the hose to go to various machines if you plan it right. Now, I will probably have it going to 2 machines at once, unless I upgrade the ducting in the workshop, which I'd like to, but it's an added expense. So I'm very happy with this. I hope that if you have any questions, you leave them down in the comments and I'd be happy to answer them. I guess the things I would say about it is it's just a great machine. I think it's well worth the money. Harvey has great customer service, and I like my lungs. I want to be doing this for a long time and not just, a few years. Yeah, I like my lungs. Hashtag, I like my lungs. So if you like your lungs at all and you've been thinking about getting a dust processor, I would highly recommend this one. This is the 3rd dust collector I've had, and I can see it being the last one I have, unless I get into a bigger shop, and maybe I would have 2 of these. I don't know. I can see this being my last one for sure. I started out with an entry-level Jet 600 and something CFM. I was like, I would rather spend money in the tools than in the dust collector, but much more enjoyable if you have the right tool for the right job. And this tool, the Harvey G700 Gyro Dust Processor, will save your lungs. It'll save you cleanup time, and you will be very, very happy that you got it. That's all I have. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. Until next week, peace out.